Happy Mashujaa Day, and welcome to the Q&A table, of course, where we discuss matters politics, matters governance, who did what, where, when, why, and as usual, how much money was spent, how much money is going to be spent, and how much more or less is the taxpayer going to spend. And I'm joined by Emmanuel Bosire, who is our analyst. Of course, he's going to help us analyze as well as digest one, two, three things that are happening out here. So karibu sana to the Q&A table. Of course, feel at home. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, karibu sana, feel at home. And as usual, the comment section is very much open. Feel free to tell us your comments as well as your suggestions, as well as probably things you'd want us to talk about or to discuss right here at the Q&A table. Now, I started by saying Happy Mashujaa Day. Of course, Kenya is celebrating the 60th Mashujaa Day. That is today, the 20th of October, 2023. And while during our previous video, we saw some of the things that are happening in Kenya that need the president's address, some of us were also expecting, or some of you are also expecting the president to touch on them during his speech. That is this year. Now, of course, the Mashujaa Day celebrations happened at Kericho, and a lot of things took place there. Number one, sadly, of course, we had a number of people, that is, 4 die and as well as several injured during a stampede at Gate C. And which is so sad. We are sending our condolences to the families as well as a quick recovery to those who are in hospital. Now, we've also seen another weird event happening that we are going to discuss later on. But before that, I'd love us to listen to the president, that is William Ruto, on what he delivered or what he has delivered to Kenyans during this particular Mashujaa Day.
Mambo ya afya katika dispensary yenu, katika health center yenu, ndio kama hakuna dawa, nyinyi wenyewe mutashughulika, mjue na mtupatie habari ya kwamba hakuna dawa katika hii hospitali, ndio Wakenya waweze kupata nafasi ya kupata afya katika mahali karibu pale nyumbani. Kwa sasa Wakenya wengi wanaenda kwenye hospitali yenye iko mbali kwa sababu ile dispensary iko hapo karibu haina dawa, haina wauguzi na haina service. Na ndio tunasema hivi, sheria yetu ya pili ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila facility, kila hospitali, kila dispensary, kila health center watakuwa na pesa zao, na pesa ya facility yenu haitapelekwa katika facility ingine na haitapelekwa kufanya kazi ingine yoyote. Itatumika katika hiyo facility yenu. Ili pesa ambayo imewekwa katika budget ya facility yenu ya nyumbani, nyinyi wenyewe kama wananchi mkisimamia na wauguzi, na tumesema ya kwamba wananchi wenyewe wahusishwe, viongozi wa kanisa wahusishwe, viongozi wa serikali katika kiwango hiyo wahusishwe, na development partners pia watakuwa pale, na hata watu wa civil society wakuwe pale, ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba hakuna wizi tena ya madawa katika mahospitali zetu, katika dispensaries zetu na katika health centers zetu. Vile vile, wananchi wengi wakipata ajali, wakipata hali ya dharura, wakienda hospitali wanaambiwa wewe huna card, wewe huna uwezo wa kulipa. Sasa emergency, chronic illness na ajali zote, kila mwananchi atakubaliwa kutibiwa katika kila hospitali bila ya kuulizwa maswali, kwa sababu maisha ya kila mwananchi ni ya muhimu. Wananchi wengi wananiuliza kwamba wale hawana uwezo wa kulipa NHIF ama wa kulipa sasa ile card ambayo ni ya Social Insurance Fund itakuwaje? wacha mimi nitangaze katika hafla hii ya kuzindua afya nyumbani kwamba kila mwananchi atalipa kulingana na mapato yake. Na yule mwananchi ambaye hana uwezo, serikali ya Kenya itakulipia card ya hospitali. Kila Mkenya atakuwa na Social Insurance Fund card. Na wewe utaenda hospitali na utatumia hiyo card, either umejilipia mwenyewe ama umelipiwa na serikali, ili uweze kupata matibabu katika level 4, level 5 and level 6. Kwa hivyo kila Mkenya, either utaenda katika level 1, 2 and 3 na upate matibabu bila malipo, ama uende level 3, level 4, 5 and 6 na utumie kadi yako kupata matibabu. Na kila Mkenya, ndio tumesema hakuna Mkenya ataachwa nyuma. Ile maneno ya zamani, wewe unaenda kwa facility ya hospitali, unaambiwa kadi yako imefika mwisho. Sasa hii kadi ambayo tutawapatia haitakuwa na mwisho, kwa sababu maisha ya kila Mkenya ni ya muhimu. That card will make sure that if the limit is reached, then the chronic and illness fund will kick in and every Kenyan will be attended to. Hakuna Mkenya atafukuzwa hospitalini kwa sababu ya mambo ya malipo tena. Tunataka tuhakikishe ya kwamba kazi hiyo inafanyika. In conclusion, allow me to celebrate Kiprugut Chumo, the first Kenyan to win an Olympic medal.
Yes, now that was all that the President William Ruto had to say during the 60th Mashujaa Day celebrations that were happening at Kericho. And of course, this comes after his signing of the Universal Healthcare Bill that is immediately came back from China. Now, Emmanuel, number one, what do you make of the President's speech, the content of the President's speech for the 60th Mashujaa Day in Kenya?
A speech is a speech.
Mm-hmm.
A speech can be powerful, but actions.
Actions what?
So I'm telling you that a speech can be a speech.
Mm-hmm.
A speech is a drafted message
No.
that people wrote yesterday for the president. They've been preparing it well. And actually what I want to say is we've seen in it actions and in it still promises. When it says that we want to have free medical for some levels of hospitals.
Yeah, 1, 2 and 3.
And then when you find out that maybe in the next 3 months, the same hospitals will be on a strike due to lack of medicine. So would we say the speech was powerful?
The speech was powerful, of course.
Yeah, the speech, that's why I was saying that the speech is powerful, and let's now wait for actions.
No.
Yeah, let's wait for the actions, for what he said. Some I know, when a president comes to give out a speech, what he says is trying as much as possible that what the president says is delivered. Most cases, we are not in a campaign period. He's now a president. He's not like 2022 when he was maybe a deputy president. Now he's the president. So when he gives out a speech, they are trying much as possible to make sure that whatever president says is being delivered. Because if you don't deliver, it's going to turn up against you. Yeah.
100%. And we saw, of course, the theme for this year is universal healthcare. That is for the Mashujaa Day. And when the president came back, of course, we saw him sign the universal healthcare bill, which is supposed to help the government, that is, improve universal healthcare coverage plan. And the 4 bills that were signed into place, of course, were the social health insurance bill. We have the digital health insurance bill. We have the primary healthcare insurance bill, as well as the facility improvement financing bill, which were passed by Parliament, or sorry, the National Assembly. That is on Tuesday. Now, just a brief explanation. So, the primary healthcare bill, its aim is to actually strengthen, that is, preventive health services by having the 100,000 community healthcare promoters commission, which was commissioned by the president recently. That is after he came back from, which countries that he came back from when mafuta ilikuwa imepandwa ya kwanza. I've forgotten. Yes.
He was from USA.
They are from the USA. Yes, yes, from the USA. I don't know. My head is stuck on China.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Yes, we also have the social health insurance bill, which abolishes the NHIF fund and creates, that is, 3 new funds. One, a primary healthcare fund, a social health insurance fund, as well as a chronic illness and emergency fund, as well as the digital health bill, which aims to promote telemedicine as well as digitize health services by ending the written transaction. And the final one is the facility improvement financing bill, which will restrict which will restrict, that is, funds that are raised in public health facilities, so that those funds are not put to other use outside of health. Just a brief explanation. Now, when we get back to you, Emmanuel, we have seen a petition has been filed, first of all, against this particular proposition, or this particular passing by the president, citing that currently for NHIF, the contribution is 2.7% of whatever you're earning, which is contrary to, or different from how you are, how is it called, how you are contributing previously to NHIF. Now, according to the petition, wanasema ni unyanyasaji, like Kenyans are being done too much. According to you, is this 2.7% actually fair to be sort of like taxed from Kenyans of all earnings? That is, wale when you want to earn according to the government.
No, maybe from a mathematical view, if someone is earning above 500,000 and you get the 2.7%,
No.
so you're going to find out that this particular individual is going to be taxed more compared to someone earning less than 5,000. And by the way, do we have taxes less than 10,000?
Less than no, it starts from 10,000 shillings.
And of course, you find that so the lower in a bracket of a salary. So there's a way that it should be done, that the percent should not be equal to all employees of the government. It should be worked out in a way that the one earning more is not overtaxed, while the one earning less also is not being overtaxed.
Overtaxed, yes.
Yeah, so if you find out that someone is earning 20%, and then the 2%, 2.7%, so roughly 3%, you're going to see is almost coming to 3,000 there. So you find out from maybe other taxes, we have other taxes. So you find out that at the end, someone is going home with almost nothing to do for other things, pay the rent, sort out his bills.
No.
So it becomes very difficult. But again, to make a petition against something that's a law, it will take long.
It will take long.
At the moment, something that the president has signed, and it's now a bill.
It's a tricky situation.
It takes a long time again. You have to go to parliament, the MPs to discuss over it, and then see what will be done.
Yeah, and then also there's a question of criteria, because when you were doing that, I decided to do some mathematics. If you're earning 500,000 shillings, then you need to contribute 13,500 shillings. And someone who's earning 10,000 shillings is set to contribute 270 shillings. And I'm just looking at the scenario where if, for example, we are going for surgery, or we're going to the hospital for consultation, according to probably insurance, if you take a look at, for example, NHIF, consultation fee is 500 shillings, The 500 shillings, NHIF will take 500 shillings from you who earns 10,000 shillings and contributed 275 shillings. The same 270 shillings. The same NHIF of someone who contributed 13,500 shillings is going to be deducted 500 shillings. You know, because that mathematics does not.
It does not work out.
Really make sense.
So, and again, now these are some of the things that should be worked out. But again, which criteria can you use?
Facts. Another criteria that I want to ask you that can be used, I don't know if it's viable. So 2.7%. First of all, every Kenyan is supposed to use their card, the NHIF card, to access healthcare, you know. And wale wenye hawajiwezi serikali itawalipia. How will you know nani hajiwezi so that you pay for them? And for how long are you going to pay for them?
That one is very easy. It's only that we cannot find the exact person. You know, the other thing is with the system. You know, the system is in place. We know even in your village, wherever you come from, you know this is someone who's employed, and this one is not employed. So that system can work actually. But you know, Kenyans, we are Kenyans. I will pretend I'm needy, but for an extent. It's not a prolonged period until we'll be caught up. By all means, we are in a digital world. People know how you transact money. The systems knows. Safaricom knows. Airtel knows. KRA knows. So you cannot lie that you are needy when the system reflects. You know, it's your ID. So they ask you, where's your ID?
Yeah.
And they put it in the system. They found out that you are not needy. You are not needy, and that's when you not be working out. So unless it's something that can take long to be fully implemented to know the real needy, and you know, circumstances change. Today you can be needy, tomorrow you're not. You are not needy. So you can lose a job today and you become needy. You know, majority of Kenyans have one source of income. So that's why wherever someone loses a job, it really brings a big mess to the entire family. And you find out that of those who are employed, you know, we've not reached their point where all Kenyans or where majority of family members are employed. In a family, roughly, it's 2 or 1 who is employed. And once you are employed, you are alone, you carry the burden of bills of your family. Your parents want to use to sort their bills. The village clansmen want you to sort out the bills. Watasema kijana tulimfunza, msichana tulimfunza. So hatujafika ile level. You know, we are still, many of us are Kenyans. Majority of us tuko middle class. Majority. In this middle class, you have only one source of employment. So wherever you lose that job, unarudi chini in a needy class. So that's why we need our government to try as much as possible to reduce some bills from those who are employed. And one of it is the universal healthcare, whereby if you be, you know, sickness, you don't plan to be sick. Is anything that can come. And when something that you've not planned is an emergency, you don't have money at that time. So when you have a universal healthcare whereby it's free to all Kenyans, it will have reduced 100% in a way the needy cases. And then you move on, maybe sort out the orphans, maybe sort out free secondary education. We'll be having a society whereby we'll be saying we are improving as a country. But whereby ukiwa msiku unajisort, unawekwa WhatsApp group changia, you know, it's very challenging. Whereby watu wengi wanawekwa groups more than 20 kuchangia watu wagonjwa. Maybe weko zingine 10 kuchangia watu wanaenda shule. 10 ongeze zingine sijui 5 za mazishi. You know, it becomes a problem as a country. Yeah.
And of course, we're looking forward to seeing if it's going to work, because of late or recently, we've had a lot of people complaining about how the NHIF is working for them, because you find it only facilitates the consultation fees. After that, you'll be told, oh, you need tests. The tests are not covered by NHIF. Oh, you need this, unless you have the those who previously contributed, is it 1650 shillings if I'm not wrong, and above, or 17 to 1700 shillings. They're the only ones who could access better healthcare without having to chip in their pocket. So, of course, with that, we are going to still see what is currently happening, or what has happened, or what transpired today during the Mashujaa Day celebrations. And this next one is very interesting because we can say it's part of history in Kenya as well. And we are clapping for leaders in the same. So just before we get Emmanuel into it, what I want us to do is listen to the Deputy President's speech. And when we come back, of course, Emmanuel, I'd want your reaction on the Deputy President's speech.
Important occasions in our history. We celebrate the day from Kericho County, one of the most active and colonial hotspots in the country, whose people were stripped of their right to land. We join the people of this county and other Kenyans in celebrating the gallant men and women who put their lives on the line to attain our freedom and restore our dignity. Your Excellency, we celebrate these men and women because they believed in the power of Africans in defining their destiny in socio-economic transformation. Kiongozi wetu, leo ni siku yako. Mimi nilikuwa hapa siku ya Jumatatu na nikapata nafasi ya kuongea na watu ya Kericho. Na kwa sababu wao walikuwa ng'ambo, mimi ndio nilikuwa nawika hapa. Sasa wewe huko, mimi sina sauti. Na kwa hivyo nichukue nafasi hii kwa sababu nimefika hapa kusema rais wetu, ulipoamua ya kwamba Mashujaa Day italetwa hapa Kericho, mimi nilifurahi sana. Na rais, wewe na hii watu wa Kericho wanajua ni kwa nini. Na niseme watu ya Kericho, hatutachoka, rais na mimi na timu yetu, kusema asanti kwa maombi yenu na vile mlituunga mkono tukapata nafasi ya uongozi. Watu ya Kericho, asanteni sana. Pia kabla nimwalike rais, pia nipongeze watu ya Kericho kwa sababu mlitupatia kiongozi chupavu, leader of the majority in the Senate, the Honorable Aaron Cheriot, ambaye anatusaidia pale na rais, na hata zile sheria rais ameidhinisha jana, yeye na viongozi wa Senate walichangia kiwango kikubwa. Kwa hivyo lazima tuseme asanti kwa huo kiongozi mlitupatia. Bila kuongea mengi, ningeuliza hizi nyote msimame munisaidie kwa shangwe na vigelegele kumkaribisha rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Mr. President, you are most welcome to address the nation. Karibu.
Asante sana mheshimiwa.
So, Emmanuel, what do you make out of that? No Azimio, no Raila, no Mount Kenya, no nothing.
From who?
From the Deputy President himself.
He has now started to understand politics.
Mm-hmm.
And politics, at times you don't let your opponents know your next step.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to the 48 rules of power, I think someone is teaching Gachagua on how to apply them. You don't need to always talk of your opponents or of your boss.
Mm-hmm.
At times you need to stand you as regarding Gachagua. Leave alone the deputy president.
Mm-hmm.
We know you are the deputy president.
No.
Can you leave it aside and speak of you alone? So he's trying to play it well so that nobody can easily tell his next move. You know, we are out of this wonderful discussion. Could it be that the president is trying to outside the Gachagua from the deputy?
Mm-hmm.
We have been, from this discussion, the president went to Nyanza River.
Mm-hmm.
What did he tell Mheshimiwa Baba Raila Amolo Odinga? So at this point, Rigathi Gachagua might not understand what the president is planning with him.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Rigathi Gachagua does not know what the opposition have. But you could be telling trends in politics. You know, if a graph is a rising graph, you can predict to reach a point, maybe a saturation point, it flattens or starts going down.
No.
So Gachagua has known the politics here, and he has decided to use his own way to leave the public neutral, the opposition neutral, the president
Neutral.
so that it will help him to know which step to move next. You know, I don't know if you're getting it right, but that's politics. You need to apply the laws well. You need to master politics. You need to be a professor in even your statements. You know what's happening with Oscar Sudi? Have you heard him of late?
Very, very quiet.
So when politicians decide to go silent, it does not mean that they are not doing something.
No.
They are looking for a backup plan. How will they come and strike again? So what he did today in his speech, he decided to remain calm. And that's good of him and those political advisors who advise him on the next way to go. That's the way to go.
No.
You don't, huwezi kuja hapo useme rais tuko pamoja. Na huyu rais maybe amekupangia akutoe. No, unafaa umshue. How do you msure him? Unaongea tu mambo ya kawaida.
No.
So that it denies him opportunity to do what may be wanted.
No.
You know, he will go and say, hey, you know, many people will analyze this, even themselves. Hey, how come today Rigathi did not say anything?
No.
Huh? So in brief, and again, to speak on the same, he has realized politics is over. You know, you have now, and I told you the other day, politics has come to an end. You have only 2 years now to deliver.
No.
And then if you, there are 2 years, 2025 hapo Mei kwenda juu, campaign. 2026 mzima, campaign. 2027, campaign. So they only have 2 years. So if they don't deliver now, in the next 2 years, opposition will be even more strong.
No.
You saw what Kalonzo started to do. So Kalonzo started to do something. And when he has started to do something, you don't take it for granted. You know, at times, citizens can vote in someone whom they never wanted to punish you.
No.
Citizens can reach a point to vote maybe Kalonzo come 2027. Not that Kalonzo is going to promise heaven or do best, but because of lack of an option, or because to punish the president, William Ruto, if he does not deliver. But from the look of things, I don't see if we can deliver.
The clock is ticking.
Very quick. Very quick.
And we're waiting to see the outcome of all this. But why we're saying this is because I don't know what's your guys' take on Riggy G's behavior as well as his speech today, because normally we know Rigathi Gachagua as a man who speaks his mind out and who mostly gives out controversial as well as very political statements when it comes to state gatherings as well as other gatherings. But this time round, he was brief, straight to the point, 2 minutes, wished guys a happy Mashujaa Day, invited the president, done.
And again, before we move maybe to the next story, you know, even the venue determines your speech.
No.
Where you speak some things, determine your speech. So Rigathi was speaking in Kalichi.
No.
So here, the ground is somehow 50-50. You know, the South Rift does not fully support the president.
No.
The South Rift is not really supporting the president. Especially the time we had Alfred Keter and the other Ruto, Isaac Ruto, fully backing Raila Amolo Odinga. So you find out that the Southern Rift is not really background for the president. But it's only now that he's ours.
No.
You know, when you find someone has used all means to become a president, now is your person. So at times a venue can deny you an opportunity maybe to speak what you wanted to. So going to Kericho and then maybe trying to speak. So, sasa imagine Rigathi yako Kericho Stadium anasema sisi kama watu wa Mlima Kenya tunataka maendeleo Mlima Kenya. No, you can see terrible things you've never seen.
Mlima Kenya might come falling down.
Mlima inaweza anguka. And again, you saw the weather did not allow that.
No.
So the rains and how do we call it? The will of God. So you find out that the stadium had not been well prepared. It's on weighing, and then the rains decided to rain. So the protocol was not to take long as it should be.
No.
So you saw that they had to stop other activities to allow the deputy and the president speak on time before heavy rains are experienced. You know, that's a region that's really blessed. Rains can rain anytime. It's like in Kisii again. You cannot tell when it's raining, when it's not going to rain. So some programs can allow you not to give your speech as you intended and leave it alone and give the president to speak. Even the president did not do much politics.
Yeah.
So you can see that they have now come to understand things are not working. Hey, ile moto Kalonzo anakuja nayo, si baba alisema atamwachia?
No.
So amempa ile nguvu ya kusukuma zaidi. Yeah.
And of course, we've seen a lot happening from the Mashujaa Day celebrations. I don't know if you as a Kenyan are satisfied by what was made or what has been made from the Mashujaa Day celebrations that is today that were being held at Kericho. And Kericho, unajua juzi tumekuwa tukiongelea Kericho and Sondu. Because of the clashes that were happening there, because of the people that are being killed there, because of the boundary situation that was happening there, or that still is there. So it probably was a wise decision to have the celebrations at Kericho, wasn't it?
No, you know, after President Kenyatta became the president, you know, initially we used to have these celebrations here in the city. But again, as a way to implement even the evolution much better, it's some holidays were being delegated down to counties. So it's going to be round, merry-go-round in hosting such events. So we've seen Nyeri hosting it, we've seen Kisii hosting it, we've seen other counties hosting it. So until then, maybe it will always keep rotating, depending on how they choose, how the governors choose what to be, and who is ready to host it. And again, you know, they go with political temperatures. You can not host a Mashujaa event in a place where political temperatures are not favoring the government. So it becomes somehow difficult. Yeah.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is how we are concluding the Mashujaa Day celebration talk. Of course, on other issues that we saw is that Kenyans have questions on why the Angola president was actually in Kenya, but was absent. That is from the celebrations that were happening at Kericho. That is the Mashujaa Day celebrations. Now, moving on, when you're talking about matters governance, we have Sabina Chege. Now, a few months ago, we saw the nominated MP being de-whipped. And right now, up to date, he is still, or she is still representing people in the House. Now, the opposition members of parliament have threatened that come next week, that is, come next week, they are no longer going to be doing business as usual. That is, if the minority or the deputy minority, the former deputy minority whip, that is Sabina Chege's de-whipping, is not affected. And of course, we have seen Sabina Chege in the light a couple of times. I don't know. Sorry, we've seen her on the light a couple of times, of course, after the motion that was there in the National Assembly to actually remove her because of a couple of reasons. I don't know if Emmanuel, you can mention that. One of them being siding, of course, with the opposition in place being the Kenya Kwanza government. I don't know, what do you take of why is Sabina's de-whipping or the changes to her being removed fully taking so long, whereas it's only supposed to be 30 days?
Not had whipping taking long. First, she's not even the deputy minority.
Yes,
She's
yes.
not. Even as much she has not fully been removed. The one, as me one Kenyan lands, in their minds and hearts, they don't have her. The only thing that is delaying the process is the court.
No.
And wherever you have a court and someone petitions, you go, you defend, you go petition, you go defend. So court is the one that delays. But for sure, as me hawamtaki na kwao hawamhitaji. The reason being, honestly, you can. So that's a part of the political parties discipline.
No.
You cannot work with the opponents. If you want to work with them, you resign, you move out of them. And so far, so bad or so good, she was nominated.
No.
So if you nominate someone who did not maybe deserve, and you had someone else, what do?
Get rid of them and get someone else.
So her taking long is not that it's maybe the assembly, it's the court. Court rulings are the one that delay and make programs to take on.
And I just love us to take a recap on Sabina Chege. Of course, she clearly stated that she has no issue working with the government and she saw no mistake working with the government because at the end of the day, Kenya is the main goal or the major goal. So let's just listen or take a recap with Sabina Chege, and then we'll be back to wind up the K&A table.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Samuel Ruto, Your Excellency, the First Lady, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and Your Excellency, Pastor Dorcas, speakers of both houses, allow me to say all protocols observed. Very grateful this morning. I didn't expect to get this chance to speak. And so thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the ambush. But I'm grateful that I'm able to say something. First and foremost is to thank Almighty God for giving us a beautiful country. And I want to thank His Excellency, the President. You know, for us who are blue and we are Azimio, last year at a time like this, we will not sit together. And when the election ended, we spoke today about reconciliation. Some of us chose the path to reconciliation, to consider Kenya first, and we believe that Kenya is bigger than any one of us. And so, Your Excellency, myself and the team from Jubilee, members of Parliament, we all went to the mantra, siyekubali kushindwa, siyo mshindani. And I know majority of Kenyans, maybe there are some who never voted, others voted for Azimio, others voted for Kenya Kwanza. Elections will be in the next 5 years. My appeal to all of us is that Kenya is greater than all of us, that we should work together to make sure that Kenya works. I have traveled across the globe, and every time I go, I miss coming back home. If Kenya burns, all of us burns. I want to urge the people from my side who, some of them chose also not to come for this prayer breakfast, that it is important that we accept the will of God. It is us who handed over the power, and so it is necessary that we support the government of the day, not for ourselves, but for the betterment of Kenya. And so, on the same tone of reconciliation, I pray to my colleagues in Parliament that they also reconcile with me, because the best thing I did was not to run away from them, but just think bigger picture about Kenya. And so, Mr. Speaker, as they plan to remove me as a Deputy Minority Whip, I hope that you'll also look at me with a better eye, and I also extend the same branch to my colleagues in Azimio, because there's nothing wrong I've done. The only thing I've done is to think about Kenya first and not myself. and hopefully that Kenya is going to rise. There are many challenges, Your Excellency. What I can promise you is that we will not wait to see Kenya go down, but each one of us will try our best to contribute in the little way we can be able to do to make Kenya better and to make the lives of our people who voted for us better. May God bless you so much and have a lovely day. And let us all hold hands together for the sake of our children. You saw the 10-year-olds here. They are looking at us, especially the leaders, to see where we'll lead this country. God bless you all. Asanteni sana.
Well done, Sabina. Excellency.
Yes, to our dear viewers, that is how we are winding up, of course, the K&A table. That was Sabina Chege actually defending why she decided to work with the government. And of course, the Azimio side is not pleased with her, and they are really rooting for her to be officially removed, as well as to be officially removed from office, because according to them, of course, also they don't understand why someone is in office and they're getting paid for work that are not supposed to be doing. So of course we're gonna keep you updated. That is this coming week on what happened there. For the K&A table today, of course, we have looked at what the Mashujaa Day celebrations in Kenya had for us, including the Universal Health Bill, which was signed to place by the president, that is William Ruto, as well as we could call it a miracle. The deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, did not touch on politics this time round during a state event. And as usual, our winding up was with Sabina Chege, whose fate we are going to tell you as time goes by. Keep on watching. That is the K&A table right here on Kenya News and Lights TV with me, Tamara Patience, as well as my analyst, or our analyst, that is Emmanuel Bosire. Thank you so much for gracing us. And from wherever it is that you are watching us, we are saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.